violently it changes. Oh no, there is no turning back now. You've woken up the demon. Enemy! Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and the devil. Good evening, lords and ladies. DJ CraigE vibe with my amazing host, Miss Sovereign Ming, Xiao, Clementine, and our honored guest, Diabolic Lucifer.
Hello there.
Hello, good evening to you all.
Heck yeah, we're back with the Behind the Fang podcast. So, as we always start it with our most amazing question, Ming, do you want to do the honors?
Yes, Diabolic Lucifer, who is your daddy?
My daddy? I ain't got no daddy. That's my show's got a secret to provide, but no, I got a mama, and she, well, for most of my time as a vampire was then Blood Rage and Hearth. But before that, when I actually did first join Progeny just 6 years ago, in 3 days, it was Chainmon.
And what was your Bryce experience like?
I didn't hear that clearly, sorry.
Oh, what was your embracing like? Like, how did, was it a big ceremony? Was, I was told it was just quick or private?
It was a pretty small gathering. It really only included her and Hearth, to my memory. It was a little gathering, reciting the traditions, and going through the motions of it, and that in and of itself, it really wasn't too roleplay significant necessarily, but it nonetheless left quite a memory to me.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I got turned, I was put on an altar, I rose up, blood kind of rained from the sky. I was pretty excited. It was I thought there might have been like a special ceremony. Okay. Well, moving forward. So tell us, what do you see of the future as a Diabolic for the Progeny system?
It's really hard to say that in a short and sweet answer. I personally see a lot of potential. There's a lot of untapped potential in the community itself. There is a vision, and everyone has their own variations of their vision for Progeny. But there's a huge vision of what Progeny can become, between when it comes to what the community would like to see and what the Source himself wants to see with what he develops. I'd say that overall it's going to become more in regards to activities. When it comes to the development of the species, that's going to become an ongoing process, just as it was with last year for the lycanthrope community. And yeah, I feel like Progeny will begin to step further outside of just the confines of Second Life as well throughout this year.
Well, that's great news. Expansion is always good.
It's like some different, new, exciting things.
And we see a lot of new, young, fresh faces coming into the Progeny universe, so it's looking quite good.
And speaking about Progeny universe, yes, tell us about your project, Diabolic Lucifer.
So there's been a lot going on in regards to my works for Progeny universe. It's not a lot that's been seen, mostly because it's been unpublished drafts, articles, and more so concepts. I've been looking at even just the Progeny universe, which has got PU. I'm a stickler when it comes to acronyms and the ideas of logos and branding. I like something catchy.
Oh, of course.
Progeny universe, it stands out as being something to differentiate from just saying Progeny. Because when you say Progeny, we tend to think of the game system and the community. But when it comes to the beginning of February, I hope to have a logo completed that would become at least the first incarnation of a new step forward for Project Universe, with the intent to brand it as Shopping Universe when it comes to taking the fictional work outside of Second Life. People that would come across it would just see Progeny, short and sweet, and it will still reverberate with, at the very least, the core essence of what defines Progeny that we know of, along with the fiction that draws inspiration from what the source has conceived too.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Well, hopefully people will come to find out, especially with the plans to complete A Bloody Masquerade. It'll be roughly
I love that story.
2 parts in, hopefully 3 more parts. I'll be concluded come Valentine's Day next month. There's a cyberpunk story that awaits publishing as well that will highlight a certain vampire's character that's being incarnated into the Progeny fiction as an antagonist for the story. That's not to say that this individual's character will remain antagonistic in the universe itself, but for the sake of this far-flung future where vampires rule the world, he's kind of gonna be what you might consider the Darth Vader. You know, the sort of dragon that guards and is in between the Emperor and the hero.
Oh, I love it.
And speaking of Star Wars, Ming has to do this one.
Yes, I just love Star Wars, and it's become a trademark question. So, do you think you would be a Jedi, or do you think you'd be a Sith Lord? Which side would you choose?
Ugh, I mean, I feel like this could be an entire, very long conversation about when it comes to the dichotomy between the two. I would have to go with the Sith, just for the sake of the idea of being like Darth Sion in Star Wars Legends, as being too angry and hateful to die. It's the very idea of just pure raw emotion, keeping him from being able to die, flesh rotting and all, still kicking. All until he was...
enchanting.
Oh yeah. The very poetic thing with that character, though, was he ended up dying by basically being told that he cannot go with his hate.
Well, the hate was what was keeping him strong, I guess.
Oh yeah. I think there's a very long ongoing theme when it comes to that in the Sith, though.
Definitely.
I agree. I was drawn to that side myself. It's quite the...
Me too. So far, everyone that's we've interviewed wants to be a Sith. I haven't heard one person say they want to be a Jedi.
I'm sure everyone has their own particular reasons for it, you know, being a Darth Vader, Darth Sion, Revan.
Absolutely.
I mean, Dark Side also has cookies too, you can't pass that up.
No, I bake them really. Hey, my cookies and brownies are perfect. Let me just say.
Well, you tend to burn everything. I don't think your oven's set up. But anyway, the next
It's for the dark side.
Exactly.
So, we're all kind of curious if, so as a Diabolic, what kind of duties, can you tell us about that, that you are entitled to do?
It's the coveted duties of a Diabolic behind closed doors. We want to know.
Well, first I would say that the umbrella definition, and I feel like what is the general perception with the Diabolics is core focus of us is being close to the source for the sake of being the bridge. To be able to assist when it comes to technical issues, being the go-to individuals when it comes to massive concerns in regards to community problems. When it comes to our duties beyond that, it can be quite far-reaching, and it really depends on the individual diabolic. We all become diabolics for different reasons, and we tend to develop a very niche focus. And when it comes to me being a diabolic, my focus has been, ever since before becoming it, has been in regards to the media beyond Second Life or Progeny. And it's been a very long and tenuous journey in regards to that. There's so much that's gone unreleased, mostly because of my own sentiment and just feeling it's not worthy enough or whatever else. And in that same vein, pun intended, I do intend to actually release some of it, especially to those that would like to become patrons. I want to be able to show people the first drafts of various works in regards to that.
Well, that would be awesome.
And when it comes to duties in general, though, I mean, you got, for example, Diabolic Cars with the magazine and the events committee. Domino has been... Basically, his focus has been tied to the Scribes Guild, but the duties aren't exclusively there. And overall, at the end of the day, we all come together as a team.
Well, definitely, and it's all connected in some way, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So each of you kind of takes on some type of expertise, like the Scribes Guild, or that's what I love about all you diabolics. You each are kind of unique with what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course,
like a good team.
And definitely when you're seen popping into Truth Hair for some new hair, everybody stops.
Oh yeah, especially when they got their fangs in each other's necks, but it's like, calm down, you can continue.
Right.
It's like, well...
But yeah, I'd say that overall, we do work very well and efficiently as a team. We've come a long way collectively over the course of the year alone, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a well-rounded team that you guys have.
Well, definitely. And each one has their own... We hope to have each and every one of you on here. We have Diabolic Karth, I believe, up next, which will be great. And
hilarious.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, tell us, throughout your time in Progeny, is there anything you wish you could have changed, or would have done again, or would have done differently, or anything? We call them scars, I guess. Anything you hope to see different in the near future?
Reflecting on that, for the most part, I really don't. The only major regret that I would say that I do has been I suppose it's been an ongoing struggle in regards to being communicative, especially with my presence. Now, past few months, I've hardly been in Worlds whatsoever, and that's all in part because of a lot of changes in my life, moving, and just focusing on the other realm. But even before then, there's been bumps in the road, struggles between me and people that I've cared deeply for, all because of issues with communication. I hope that in the future, the time, but it's always an ongoing struggle. I do a whole lot better when I'm only talking to, a Word document.
Aren't we all?
Yes. And, well, communication is key, like you said, and I totally understand that. So
And I feel that's something, kind of preaching to the choir in a way. It's definitely important. Always work towards that. It's like patience, especially for people not too adept at it. It's always a trial and tribulation to work on it, but it goes a long way to be capable of having patience and to be able to communicate, because less toes get stepped on, less misinformation spreads, overall the deals turn more smoothly.
yep, definitely. And we hope to see you all at our upcoming events. We hope to be having another one at Diabolic Park at the end of the month, so it's going to be maybe a My Bloody Valentine.
Ooh, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to make it.
So, do you have any other advice for the community? Anything you'd like to tell them?
Weird Jeopardy music going through my head right now. I mean, there's really nothing in particular that's sagely or anything like that for me to express. Just overall, just try to have fun, but don't try to have fun. When it comes to roleplay, it's all about communication. You want to be a villain or be an asshole, whatever sort of vampire, that's fine so long as it's expressed with an out-of-character manner. This is just how my character is. Maybe we should hang out when we're not in the roleplay sort of.
Yeah.
Because people get lost. And if you don't express it, people are going to perceive you as being just an ass.
Definitely. A lot of people get immersed in their character, and it kind of becomes them. Progeny is a game filled with passion, for sure.
Definitely. And, that's a double-edged sword. It's really wonderful just how engrossed people get to their character, and sometimes it's also just disappointing just how they get caught up in using the idea of roleplay as a facade to go to. And, there's middle ground with that communication. It's not wrong to want to be an ass sometimes, so long as there's balance in it. There's a line drawn that doesn't get crossed.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we all just want to have fun.
Well, and that's what we signed up for. Like you said, it's very passionate, and when you get so immersed into your character, your enemies can become your real enemies. It's kind of crazy. I never thought it would happen that way, but like you said, when you get so immersed and passions are running high, it happens.
Friendships are built with the sense of it like family, and just like that, you can lose it, and it could go even further with just people having a far more negative because of it. And so it's important to remember that progeny, at the end of the day, is just a game.
Right.
The HUD is a roleplay tool, an aid to help assist in enhancing the roleplay experience. We're in the HUD, it's not like signing this contractual form where it states that just because you wear it, you're obligated to deal with the roleplay that others impose upon you.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you also can't always keep complaining about it, because people have the capacity to attack still, and there's no way to switch that off.
Well, and
that's so true.
That's a very good point too.
It's a valid point.
And it is also a combat system, so if you're not into the combat, instead of taking it to heart, just get out of there, Come back later.
Well, Diabolic Lucifer, what do you think of the arts, like the creative side of progeny? Do you think that a lot more people are participating in that now? Do you see a bit of improvement?
Well, it's hard for me to give like a definitive answer to humans because since from what I have seen, which I can't say has been a whole lot, there has been a little bit more. Seems like more people are getting more into the roleplay elements. There's what seems to be more of an art side with photography and stuff too. But I really can't necessarily say if that's just, coincidence, or if there's a correlation to just how things have been growing with the community itself.
Well, fresh fangs every day is a good thing.
So I wanted to ask you, how long were you a vampire before? You were in arts, right? You were like vampire, and what were the stages that you went through?
Let's see, vampire served as Infernal to the source for a few months and became a Diabolic. Let's see, the time between being a vampire to Diabolic, that was January 20th, 2014 until April 8th, 2016. That was the day of my apotheosis.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
So that's a good couple of years, right? You enjoy being a vampire and...
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of Progeny's time, it's too.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Wow. Well, I gotta say, there's a lot of upcoming and new and exciting things here to happen in the Progeny universe, so we hope to see them all coming to fruition very soon, and the more new faces we see, I think it'll add diversity to the whole thing, which is good.
Most definitely, and I look forward to seeing how it all ties together, groups like orientation guilds, and see where the museum will continue to go, and the dog park, and so on. And, those locations and the bodies that orchestrate the events are a driving force for the community-centric activities. And then you got the bloodlines and clan activities themselves, where families get together. And it's really enriching to even just hear about what's going on, not necessarily even being invited to. I enjoy just hearing that people are enjoying their time, much as, people coming and asking for advice or raising a complaint against someone.
Well, exactly, and that's why, even, beside Diabolic Park, we have a place that we, it's kind of more of a dancey place for, the community to come to, where they just want to kind of cut loose and socialize and not have to worry about, getting chomped on, right? So it's good that they come around a lot. It's really good to see it.
That's definitely nice to have sanctioned location to help protect them and let them in.
Yep, and just kind of go with the flow, and that's a good way, to bring in future fledglings. Hint, hint. Miss...
Nudge, nudge.
Yep. Miss Sovereign Ming Xiao.
So where can we find your publications, Diabolic Lucifer? How can people sign up for your Patreon program, and where can they read Bloody Masquerade?
Ooh.
Well, what I can do for you guys is send the link so you guys can put in the video description, or if that goes to Diabolic Domino, I'll send it his way. But when you are in World on Second Life, you can find my Second Life account, Esoteric Eon, and check my pics, and I'll have links to the Patreon, and where the Progeny fiction is hosted is called World Info, so it'll be worldinfo.com/Progeny Universe currently.
Okay.
Fantastic. So I hope more people in the community enjoy reading those publications. Bloody Masquerade is one of my favorite things of all time.
I'm really proud of just even where it's come from. I deeply enjoy the source of writing stories that just come from dreams themselves. And that was no different in that case, but it's still incomplete. And it will have its completion soon enough. Soon, trademark.
Yeah, that's what we're saying with our Coffin Chronicles too. It's soon enough. Well, I really gotta say it's been an honor to have you on our podcast, and I really hope to have you again in the near future as time develops, and we can just touch base again and let the community know what to expect. And any special parting words, or I guess you said you have no sage ones, but any future things to look forward to, you think?
Well, I'd say there's a lot to look forward to, but with what I've expressed personally, beyond that, there really isn't. I really can't speak on when it comes to other developments. Just I'm looking forward to what the source has in the works and in the coals as much as the rest of the community, especially when it comes to Reloop.
Yes.
Because I feel like that's going to be a major step forward. All the same when it comes to the other book updates, and
very exciting. I'm
there's
kind of excited about the Slayers too. There's so much. So keep your ears open.
I'm so excited about that.
Yep, one thing I can say though, and this actually comes to mind because someone came to me because rumors were spreading. When it comes to development of, in this case, a lycanthrope hide, I can't say there's anything concrete. Not until the source himself says it, and otherwise what would become known to the community would come from the Diabolic Conclave. So anything beyond that, what has been expressed in hopes of what we hope to see, it's not necessarily concrete stuff. So if there's something that's hearsay, don't worry too much. If you feel like it's gonna be something concerning to the structure of your family, anything like that, the Diabolics and the source wants to see to the most being offered for when it comes to the species development.
Well, that's
Okay, so just make sure we get our facts straight before we get all up in a panic.
Exactly.
well, totally.
Advice.
Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure that you've decided to join us here on our Behind the Fang podcast, and
the honor, sir.
a fellow.
Such an honor. I'm so thankful that you come and speak with us in the community, and we hope that you'll come back when you get some of your publications for the University logo and talk to us again.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Sith to Sith, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Don't eat any of Lord Craig's cookies. They're horrible.
Well, I'm from Canada. They're actually really nice. Have a great night. On it. You have a great night, everybody.
Yes, good night all. Thanks again, Double.
Oh, wow.